Prime Minister Narendra Modi continues his hard sell of Make in India in Germany. Berlin is the stop today where Mr. Modi has received a rousing welcome from non-resident Indians in the city first. He then visited the Siemens Technical Academy where he interacted with students. Earlier in Hanover, the Prime Minister projected India's potential, he said, to emerge as a global manufacturing hub. Modi was flanked by German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who inaugurated the Indian Pavilion at the Hanover Fair, the world's largest industrial fair. India, remember, is this year's partner country for the fair. Now, among the more interesting stops that Mr. Modi will make is that when he is meeting later tonight the relatives of the great leader Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This against the backdrop of the snooping row controversy that was brought to light by India today. And it's now reached Berlin because when the Prime Minister meets with Surya Bose, the grandnephew of Subhash Chandra Bose, later this evening, he is expected to raise the issue of declassifying all the Netaji files. That's been the big demand now of all the family members, particularly after that story broke of how the IB spied between the years 1948 and 68 on the Kolkata-based family of the nationalist leader. Okay, I'm joined by two special guests. Ardendu Bose is the nephew of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Professor Shogato Bose is the great nephew of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and also a Trinamool Congress MP. I appreciate both of you joining us. First to you, Ardendu, what is your reaction when you first heard the news that your uncle was being spied upon by the Congress government, the Nehru government between 48 and 68, and do you believe that all the files should be declassified? Is it right to only give portions of these files out?
Gone.
Ardendu, you want to respond first?
Not getting anything.
Let me turn to Shogato Bose. Shogato Bose, your view. What's your view on this? Do you believe that all the files should be declassified right away?
Yes, of course. As a historian, I have consistently held that most files that are 30 years old should be open, and all files that are more than 50 years old should be open. That would include all files relating to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, but not limited to them.
But why do you think the government has been reluctant to do that? Why do you think the government has been reluctant? Both the previous Congress governments, even today the BJP government says that they are reluctant to declassify all the files. What could be there? What is your suspicion which is preventing the declassification of files? And is it only adding to the rumor mongering?
Absolutely. I think the government's decision not to release some of these files fuels unnecessary speculation and gives a field day to conspiracy theorists. They give a lame excuse that relations with some friendly foreign governments may be adversely affected. I don't believe that for a moment. As I have been saying, I have written in my book, His Majesty's Opponent, how Churchill's government ordered the assassination of Subhash Chandra Bose in 1941. But we don't hold David Cameron's government responsible for the sins of Winston Churchill. So I think that what may come out, and I have to speculate here, is that the government or bureaucrats and politicians of those days did dishonorable things like conducting intrusive surveillance on my father, Dr. Shishir Kumar Bose, and my uncle, both of whom were law-abiding citizens. My father was a freedom fighter trying to preserve the best traditions of the freedom movement, and yet all his letters were being opened and read and copied, including letters that he exchanged with his aunt, Emily, Netaji's wife.
Can I bring in Ardendu on this part? Does the family hold the Nehru government and Jawaharlal Nehru personally responsible for A, the snooping, and B, the failure to declassify files? I think we are having a problem with Ardendu's line, so we'll have to skip that. Shogato, who do you hold Professor Bose responsible? Is it Jawaharlal Nehru in a way who must, who must take accountability and responsibility for the manner in which this intrusive surveillance went on?
Well, Nehru's government was certainly responsible. From the files that I have read, I find no indication that Nehru himself ordered the intrusive surveillance that was carried out in Calcutta from the late 40s until his death in 1964. He did inquire of our Japanese, our ambassador in Japan through our foreign secretary about the activities of my uncle in Japan in 1957. But he may have done that because it was around the time that he himself visited Japan and went to the Renkoji temple to pay his respects to Netaji. So there is no direct evidence in the files released so far that Nehru himself ordered this kind of surveillance in Calcutta. The surveillance began when Vallabhbhai Patel was the Home Minister, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was Patel's successor as Home Minister, and the actual surveillance was carried out from the headquarters of the intelligence branch of the government of West Bengal at 13 Lord Sinha Road. And unfortunately, I have to say that Bidhan Chandra Rai was the Chief Minister of West Bengal. So neither the central government nor the state government of that time can be absolved of blame and responsibility. I simply don't know whether Nehru himself was involved. He was personally very friendly and warm towards the Bose family. His intelligence agencies were snooping on my father and his activities at the Netaji Research Bureau, but at the same time he visited the Netaji Research Bureau in 1961. I was present as a child when he was visited. We have photographs of that visit, and he always invited my father and other members of the family to have breakfast with him in Delhi and so on. So we can't square his warm personal attitude with what the intelligence agencies of his government were doing.
So the best way
of the surveillance
is to put it all out in the public domain. That will end the speculation once and for all. That will end the rumor mongering. That will end the controversies. Let's put it out in the public domain. That's what Professor Bose and the family are saying. I appreciate your joining us here on the news today at 9.